do a job, you know, and that's what I look at. I look at it as when I go to a town, I'm being paid to come there and take care of business. And that's what I do. I go there, I take care of my business, I pack my clothes, and I go home.
And that win over Cuevas paved the way for the unification bout with Sugar Ray Leonard. First super fight for both of you. How did you cope with the pressure and the expectations of the whole city of Detroit going into that contest?
The fight between Thomas Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard #1 was an emotional fight that was probably, at that time, the biggest fight in history. And what people didn't realize that Ray Leonard trained at the Kronk Gym in '76 in order to win a spot on the Olympic team. And when he won the Olympic trials, the whole Kronk team was there cheering him on. He was our Kronk fighter. When Thomas Hearns turned professional in his first professional fight, Ray Leonard came to Detroit and spent the whole holiday season, which instead of being with his family, to help promote Thomas's first fight. So the relationship had been there for many years, which people didn't understand. So when Ray and Tommy fought, not only was it a big fight for the general public in the boxing world, but also it was like, for our little small world, it was like bragging rights to the community, because Ray Leonard was like a Kronk fighter in his own way, which people didn't realize. And preparing for the fight, even in our camp, it was the first and only time that we had even emotional problems between us, Thomas and I. Thomas was so determined to be in great shape for that fight that, in that case, we actually overtrained. For the fight with Ray Leonard, he came in underweight. And then just before the fight started, Thomas Hearns became the favorite because of the people from Detroit coming in and actually betting money. It got to be a really, really big bet fight between the Detroit people, who were so emotionally involved with Thomas, and people was betting their loans against their homes, everything. So it was an emotionally high city, and it was a type of a fight that really what you call a classic, because each time one guy would start taking the lead, the other guy would come right back the next round. It was just two guys who just had greatness inside. And after being hurt in the 6th round, a good little short punch combination exchange, he survived, came back, and was winning the fight again. And I think around about the 12th round or something, between the rounds as I was talking to him, I could just, like, all of a sudden his head like dropped, like it was like totally out of gas, and I knew then the fight was over with. And, you know, even though Ray Leonard came on strong, not trying to take anything away, if Thomas had been normal and came in at his normal weight and everything, Ray Leonard would not have been able to win the fight. But nevertheless, you can't take anything away from Ray. That's not his problem.
What are your memories of that night, your first loss as a professional?
I really didn't know how to accept it, because being a winner just don't quit. Just keep going. And when I lost, it's like the worst thing in the world could have happened to me. And I was down on myself for a while, because I felt like I let the public down.
I actually cried and had more pain than I've ever had in my life. Nothing personally, including death, and my family hurt me as much as that fight was. And then to wait 8 years later and finally get the rematch, and Thomas comes out and encouraged everybody, once again shows he's a better fighter than Ray, beats him, knocks him down 2 times, only to hear the officials call it a draw. And that's the second biggest pain in my life.
How frustrating was it for you, Tommy, to have to wait those 8 years before you could get Ray Leonard into a ring again?
It was very frustrating for me, because I wanted so badly to redeem myself, to go back in there and fight Ray and come out victorious this time. Not getting the victory, to me, it was like, you know, it was like a letdown, but I knew in my heart, and people knew who won that fight. And that meant a lot to me, too. So, I mean, I had to deal with that. I had to go through life now just knowing that the second fight, I did win, but I didn't get the decision.
But then you regrouped, moved up to 154, secured a title against Wilfred Benitez.
Yeah.
And then came perhaps the career-defining win against Roberto Duran when you knocked him spark out.